In 1994, a Catholic monk was found dead in his cell at the Vatican. He did not die of natural causes. Beside his body, there was an open manuscript with dates, specific dates, dates that should never have been written. The document disappeared before anyone could photograph it. But 3 witnesses swore they saw the same thing, a complete chronology of the rapture, hidden for centuries in the Church's secret archives. What if I told you this wasn't an isolated case? What if there were people right now who know when everything will happen but chose not to tell you? Let me tell you a story that will completely change how you see the Bible, the Church, and everything you've been taught about the end times. We're in March 1994, Vatican City, in the depths of the Vatican Secret Archives, where only 150 authorized researchers per year can enter. A man was about to discover something that would destroy his life. His name was Father Domenico Marchetti. He was 67 years old, an expert in apocalyptic texts, and had dedicated 40 years of his life to the study of biblical prophecies. Domenico was not an ordinary man. He spoke Aramaic, Ancient Hebrew, Koine Greek, and ecclesiastical Latin as fluently as you breathe. He had access to documents that most cardinals would never see. And on that cold March night, while everyone slept, he found something in the archives classified as Apocalypsis Prohibita, forbidden apocalypse. There were 47 pages written in archaic Latin mixed with Hebrew, dated from the 4th century, right after the Council of Nicaea. The document had no identified author, but it contained something absolutely disturbing: a precise mathematical chronology of the rapture, calculated from biblical prophecies. These prophecies were crossed with Jewish lunar calendars, jubilee cycles, and specific astronomical events. Domenico began translating frantically. His hands were shaking. What he was reading were not just vague prophecies, they were dates, specific dates, time windows, celestial signs that coincided with future political events. And the most frightening thing, everything was aligning with the period in which he himself was living. The next morning, Domenico was found dead in his cell. Heart attack, they said. But 3 seminarians who assisted him that week swore they saw something different: signs of struggle, burned papers in his cell's fireplace, and a small piece of parchment that survived the flames with only one phrase in Latin: tempus occultatum est, ne electi dormiant. Time has been hidden so that the chosen ones do not sleep. The manuscript was never seen again. The case was filed. Domenico was buried quietly, and the Church never officially commented on the incident. But here's what nobody tells you: Domenico wasn't the first, and he wasn't the last. Have you ever stopped to think about why Jesus, who spoke so much about the kingdom of heaven, about signs, about the return, about being prepared, left one mysterious phrase recorded in Matthew 24:36? But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. No one knows, not even the Son knew, only the Father. But what if this phrase wasn't an eternal secret? What if it was temporary protection? What if the knowledge of the exact moment was always there, encoded, waiting to be revealed only when the right time came? I'm going to show you something that will make you question everything. In 1604, a Benedictine monk named Dom Augustin Calmet published a biblical commentary that caused such a scandal that it was immediately banned by the Inquisition. In it, Calmet argued that the prophecies of Daniel, when combined with the Jubilee cycles of Leviticus 25 and the prophecies of John in Revelation, formed a prophetic clock, a mathematical countdown that could, yes, be calculated. Calmet was forced to publicly retract. His books were burned, but copies survived. And do you know who secretly studied these copies? Isaac Newton. That's right, the father of modern physics. Newton dedicated more time studying biblical prophecies than physics. He wrote more than 1 million words about the book of Daniel and Revelation. And in his private manuscripts, discovered only in 1936, Newton made precise calculations. He arrived at specific dates, one of them 2060, but Newton hid his conclusions. He left a handwritten warning. This knowledge is not for the unprepared. Revealing it before time would bring chaos and destruction to faith. Why? Why would one of the most brilliant men in history hide this information? Because he knew what happens when you reveal the date. In 1844, William Miller, an American farmer, calculated mathematically through Daniel 8:14 that Christ would return on October 22, 1844. He convinced 100,000 people. They sold their houses. They abandoned their families. They climbed mountains waiting for the rapture. And when nothing happened, the event became known as the Great Disappointment. Suicides happened. Families were destroyed. The faith of thousands was permanently shaken. The church learned a lesson. Revealing dates destroys more than it saves. But what if the problem wasn't revealing the wrong date? What if the problem was revealing the right date? Now comes the part that will make you look at the Bible with different eyes. There are verses that simply don't make sense on the surface, specific numbers that seem random, genealogies that seem unnecessary, astronomical details that seem decorative. But what if none of this is accidental? Let's start with Daniel 12:11 and 12. Pay attention. From the time that the daily sacrifice is abolished and the abomination that causes desolation is set up, there will be 1,290 days. Blessed is the one who waits for and reaches the end of the 1,335 days. 1,290 days. 1,335 days. Why two different numbers? Why is the one who reaches the second number blessed? What happens in those 45 days of difference? The church never fully explained this to you because the explanation involves admitting that there is, yes, a hidden chronology. Now look at this. Revelation 12:6 speaks of 1,260 days. Revelation 11:3 speaks of 1,260 days again. Revelation 13:5 speaks of 42 months, which are exactly 1,260 days in the Jewish lunar calendar. Daniel 7:25 speaks of a time, times, and half a time, which are also 1,260 days if you calculate time as 360 days of the Jewish prophetic calendar. This is not coincidence, it's a code. And you know what's scarier? When you start crossing these numbers with real historical events, everything fits together in a way that shouldn't be possible. The Balfour Declaration, which initiated Israel's return to its land, happened in 1917, exactly 2,520 years after Israel's first deportation to Babylon in 603 BC. 2,520 are 7 prophetic times. 7 times 360 days equals 2,520 days or years, using the day-year principle of Ezekiel 4:6. The restoration of Jerusalem as Israel's capital was in 1967. Exactly 50 years later, in 2017, the alignment of embassies in Jerusalem began. 50 years, a perfect jubilee. Israel became a nation on May 14, 1948. A biblical generation is 70 to 80 years, according to Psalm 90:10. 1948 plus 70 equals 2018. 1948 plus 80 equals 2028. Jesus said in Matthew 24:34, "Truly I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened." Which generation? The generation that would see Israel reborn as a nation. Are you starting to understand why they don't want you to know this? Let me tell you about something that will sound like a conspiracy theory, but has historical documentation. Between 1962 and 1965, the Second Vatican Council took place, the largest gathering of Catholic leaders of the 20th century. More than 2,600 bishops from around the world gathered in Rome. The official minutes speak of liturgical reform, ecumenism, relationship with the modern world. But there is a session that was not fully documented, a closed session that took place on November 18, 1964. With only 40 cardinals present, all experts in eschatology and biblical prophecies, the official theme was pastoral guidelines on the teaching of the end times. 3 priests who had access to the partial minutes of this meeting years later revealed something disturbing. The Church had decided to implement what they internally called pastoral of indefinite hope, a directive to actively discourage any attempt to calculate or speculate about dates of the rapture or Christ's return. The official justification? To protect the faithful from false hopes and false prophets. The unofficial justification, according to these priests, control. Because here's the truth nobody wants to admit. If people knew there's little time left, the Church would lose its institutional power. Why? Because urgency changes everything. Think with me. If you knew Christ returns in 5 years, would you continue paying tithes to build temples that won't be used? Would you continue following religious hierarchies that will no longer have a function? Would you continue worrying about denominational doctrines that won't matter in eternity? Indefiniteness keeps the system running. And here's the clearest evidence of this. In 1981, the Vatican published a pastoral orientation called Catechesi Tradendae, signed by John Paul II, which included this specific line in paragraph 39. One must carefully avoid any apocalyptic presentation that fixes specific dates and periods, as this contradicts the nature of Christian hope. Sounds reasonable, right? But look at the part that's not widely publicized. It continues. Such knowledge belongs to the magisterium of the Church and must be protected from private interpretations that may cause harm to the community of faith. Wait, belongs to the magisterium of the Church. Does this mean that the Church recognizes that the knowledge exists but should not be freely shared? I need to tell you about Father Malachi Martin. Malachi Martin was an Irish Jesuit priest, theologian, exorcist, and one of the men with the greatest access to Vatican secrets in the 20th century. He worked directly with 3 popes. He had access to the secret archives. And in 1996, he gave an interview on an American radio program. That became legendary. The host asked, "Father Martin, do you believe the Vatican knows more about the end times than it publicly reveals?" There was a long silence. Then Martin responded with a trembling voice, "I know things that were entrusted to me under secrecy that make me wake up at night with my heart racing. I know there is knowledge kept, not because it's false, but because it's too true. And humanity is not ready." Father, does this mean there are hidden prophecies? It means there are things that cannot be said, out of love, out of true love. Malachi Martin died in 1999, under mysterious circumstances. A fall at home that was never fully explained, but he wasn't the only one to speak. Sister Lucia dos Santos, the last seer of Fatima, kept the famous third secret of Fatima for decades. When it was finally revealed in 2000, many scholars said that was not the complete secret, that there was a part that was omitted. Cardinal Ratzinger, who later became Pope Benedict XVI, was questioned about this in 2001. His answer: "What was published is complete. The rest belongs to the realm of the Church's prudent discernment." The rest. He admitted there was the rest. And here's what few know. Before dying in 2005, Sister Lucia wrote a letter to a nephew. In this letter, which was partially leaked in 2017, she said, "The time was revealed to me, but I was ordered not to reveal it. I can only say, watch the signs. When Israel completes 80 years since its rebirth, lift up your heads, because redemption is near." 80 years from 1948 is 2028. So what do we do with all this? I know you might be thinking, this is crazy, or this is conspiracy theory, or even this goes against what Jesus said about no one knowing the day and hour. And I understand, but let me ask you a question. Jesus said no one knew. He didn't say no one would know. He said that at that moment, not even he knew. But he also said something crucial in Matthew 24:32 and 33. Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at the door. You know, not stay in ignorance. Know that it is near. He gave us signs, he gave us clues, he gave us a chronology through prophecies, and he told us to watch. The problem was never knowing or not knowing. The problem was always what you do with that knowledge. Do you use it to sell books, to create panic, to manipulate people? Or do you use it to wake up? Because that's what this is about. It's not about marking a date on the calendar and waiting passively. It's about understanding that time is running out, that every decision matters, that every person around you needs to hear about Christ's love now, because there may not be tomorrow. Did the church hide this? Maybe, out of fear, out of control, or out of misdirected love. But the truth cannot be hidden forever. And you now know enough to no longer be able to say that no one warned you. Domenico Marchetti died trying to reveal something. Malachi Martin carried a weight that consumed him. Sister Lucia took a secret to the grave, but left clues. And you are here now with this information. What are you going to do with it? Will you pretend you didn't hear? Will you continue living as if you had all the time in the world? Or will you wake up? Because if there's something all these accounts teach us, it's this. The knowledge was not hidden to protect you. It was hidden to keep you sleeping. But now you are awake, and there's no going back. If this video impacted you, if something inside you changed hearing this, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Comment on what you felt. And if you have the courage to continue seeking the truth, subscribe to this channel. Because what you just heard is only the beginning.